Beautiful MMA fans, UFC 319 officially ended and it became part of history. And history will say that Khamzat Chimaev put on one of the most dominant championship performances in the history of our beautiful sport. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start with the main event and we're going to work our way through the prelims. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, Khamzat Chimaev, if there is one sentence to describe what the man did, it is simple. The man simply mopped the floor with the pride of South Africa, one of the best and most dominant champions in recent memory, Dricus du Plessis. Let's talk about it. So, leading up to the fight, I pointed out all the glaring holes and weaknesses in Dricus' game. And the man has been relying on his strength and his toughness and durability for a long time. But most importantly, the man was relying on his will. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, leading up to the fight, at some point in every fight, the will must outweigh the skill. And Dricus du Plessis' will has been stronger than Adesanya's, Whittaker's, Brunson's, Stills, Strickland twice. Adesanya was more skilled, Whittaker was more skilled, but they didn't have the will that Dricus had, and still has. But it was only a matter of time before the man didn't just meet someone who's better than him technically in every aspect and exposed the weaknesses when it comes to the wrestling department, but most importantly, someone who matched his will. And Khamzat Chimaev, not only did he match Dricus' will, but he's simply stronger than him, physically, mentally, spiritually, everything and anything that you can think of. Let's talk about the performance. In the first 5 seconds of the fight. And actually, let's talk about the fight week, ladies and gentlemen. Khamzat Chimaev owned the fight week. Press conferences, pre-fight interviews, the weigh-in. The man won the mental battle and the man had all the momentum in the world on his side. The fight started and he mauled Dricus and took him down in less than 10 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, less than 10 seconds in, Dricus was down and Dricus made a lot of mistakes. From the first bell to the final bell, not just mistakes when you talk about his technique, but mistakes when you talk about his game plan, thought process, IQ. The man was dominated and simply stifled. Khamzat Chimaev shut everything down. I had the first round 10-8. I had the second round 10-8. Third round 10-8. Fourth round, 10-8, and you can even make a case for the fifth round being 10-8, but with the last minute being competitive, let's give it 10-9, ladies and gentlemen. But let me ask you this question. When have we ever seen a championship fight in the UFC this dominant from the side of the challenger? Forget the champion. The champion looked like an absolute amateur. And you know what's interesting? You hear a lot of people saying that Khamzat should have knocked him out, Khamzat should have submitted him. What are we talking about here? Dricus, the world champion, one of the most the man with the best resume of this era, him and Adesanya. The man couldn't do anything on the ground and simply, I don't want to say the man can't wrestle. The man is so strong, he's so powerful, and he is so determined. But when you talk about his wrestling techniques, flaws everywhere. The way that he was trying to defend the singles, the doubles, the way that he was trying to push Khamzat off of him. The way that, the man simply didn't want to get finished, if you ask me. And that is why Khamzat couldn't finish him, because Dricus, on the ground, he was trying to survive. He was never trying to reverse any position. He was never trying to take any chances. that might pay off. And when it comes to Mark Goddard, that was one of the most disgraceful performances from any referee that I have seen in recent memory. I mean, the man was absolutely atrocious. What are you doing standing Khamzat and Dricus up when Khamzat is absolutely dominating and controlling? I mean, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it that Dricus can't get up? Yes, it is only one man's fault, and it's Dricus du Plessis. And now, if you actually think about it, every time that Dricus was going back to his corner, even his coaches, they weren't really giving him any real technical advice. They were just telling him that he's just edging the rounds. He's just stealing the rounds. What are you guys talking about? The man is absolutely dominating from bell to bell. So, and look at Dricus' face. I mean, Dricus was beat up. The man took over 500 punches to the face. And even though most of them weren't really power shots, but trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you get hit in the head once with a small punch, it won't feel good. Never mind 500, over 500 strikes, nearly 600. So, I mean, Khamzat Chimaev absolutely wiped the floor with Dricus, literally and figuratively, and the man is the new middleweight champion of the world. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that anyone in this division can beat him. Yes, you have a lot of people who can give him trouble, like Hernandez with a gas tank, but the reason why he's going to destroy Fluffy Hernandez is because Hernandez is not disciplined outside of camp. And I'm going to make another video talking about the options for Khamzat Chimaev. But that being said, let's move on and talk about the card in its entirety, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the co-main event. My most anticipated UFC debut since Brock Lesnar, Aaron Pico. What did I say in the breakdown? I picked Aaron Pico to win and finish Lerone Murphy. But what did I say? I said that either Aaron Pico is going to win in the most violent fashion ever, or he's going to lose in the most violent fashion ever. And my goodness, did he lose in one of the most devastating knockouts that you will ever see. I feel for Aaron Pico, man. I really, really feel for Aaron Pico. The man worked his entire life for this moment, just for him to get absolutely annihilated. And this is the problem that we talked about leading up to the fight, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Pico's chin and defensive flaws. The man is an absolute machine gun. The man is an absolute juggernaut. When you talk about his striking, when you talk about his pressure, when you talk about his top control. But when it comes to defense, and if you actually think about it, Aaron Pico has been sparring deadly punchers since he was a kid. Miguel Cotto, Ryan Garcia, every single big name in the wild card boxing gym in California, Aaron Pico sparred them when he was a kid. So not only does he have a lot of defensive flaws, but the man, I can only imagine, I mean, if anyone knows anything about the stories in the gyms and boxing, wild card, they are known to have the most brutal sparring sessions in America. And Aaron Pico's been sparring there and taking a lot of punishment there since he was a kid. But let's get into the entire card, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the entire card. That was the co-main event, and the fight before that, Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal. Actually, when it comes to my picks, I picked every single fight correctly except two. But I believe every underdog that I picked won. So, but disclaimer, do not gamble. Why? Because it's simply forbidden, ladies and gentlemen. It is haram, so don't ever gamble. Let's get into it. The fight after that, the fight before that, was Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal. I mean, Carlos Prates, I picked him by knockout, and he knocked out Jeff Neal. The man looked spectacular, but with him being an alcoholic and a smoker, I fear for the man. the man will never really reach his full potential. Why? Because the man drinks a lot and smokes a lot and he is not focused. And you gotta be focused in everything in life, but if there's one thing that you can't play, it is fighting, ladies and gentlemen. It is always, God forbid, life and death. You can't play this sport, ladies and gentlemen. And it feels like Carlos Prates is so talented, but he is playing with fire. But let's see where he goes. I wish him all the best. The man is charismatic, he's young, he's powerful. He is the southpaw version and the more dynamic version of Alex Pereira. After that, Michael Venom Page, my Muslim brother, who I picked to be Jared Cannonier, also won this fight. It was a very good fight. MVP. If you actually think about it, how can you beat this man? Let's just think about it, ladies and gentlemen. How in the world can you beat this man? I can only imagine that the first thing that comes to your mind when you see him fighting is calf kicks. Let's chop down his legs. But his timing is so impeccable that he even sees the calf kicks coming and he's going to counter you with that darting straight backhand that might take your head off. All I'm saying is this, ladies and gentlemen, this man is one of the hardest puzzles to solve I have ever seen, not just in MMA, but in combat sports, period. And Jared Cannonier, the man is so tough, the man is so resilient, and we wish him all the best. God willing, the man will bounce back again, even though he's, I believe, nearing 42 years old. But the man definitely doesn't look 42. The man's physique is absolutely phenomenal. The man is ripped. The man is strong, powerful, determined. Everything positive that I can think of, I'll say it about Jared Cannonier. Wish him all the best, but it was simply just not his night. And the biggest underdog of the night, a man who I have been watching for nearly 17 years, Tim Elliott, biggest underdog on the card. I picked him, by the way. Now, I didn't pick him because he was, I did say that he was better technically. I picked him because I said the nostalgic part in me is hoping that the man can pull it off. And my goodness, did he pull it off. And not only did he pull it off at 38 years old, but the man finished the young Japanese superstar, Kai Asakura. The first round was competitive, but Tim Elliott took over, finished the man, and got the bonus. The man's been through a lot. And I remember watching his championship fight nearly 10 years ago versus Demetrius Johnson. And I remember even watching him 5 years before that when he was in the... I'm telling you, I've been watching this man for nearly 17 to 18 years. The first time I've probably watched MMA, this man was fighting on these big UFC cards. And look at him now. Still on the main card, still pulling off upsets, still beating young guys. Tim Elliott is an absolute legend. Period, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what do we have next? Susurkaev versus Tim Nolan. This fight was very weird, put on short notice. Nolan had some moments early, but he got finished. There's not really too much to say about this fight. Before this fight, we got Gerald Meerschaert versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, the pride of Poland. This is what I predicted, ladies and gentlemen. I predicted that Oleksiejczuk was going to win, mainly not because he is a better fighter overall, but because Meerschaert has taken so much punishment in his career. But what I said, the knockout power of the Polish man will be the X factor in this fight. And what do you know? He knocked him out early, finished the job, and the man is moving on to bigger and better things. Jessica Andrade versus Lupita Godinez. I picked Lupita Godinez and Godinez won. And very, very good fight, competitive fight. Both girls took some big hard shots. And to be honest, what can you say about Jessica Andrade? My goodness, one day she looks like the most violent and ferocious female fighter on the planet, and other moments and other fights she looks completely lost. It is very, very strange. So I don't think that's a technical issue. I think that's a personal issue. I don't know what's going on in her personal life maybe or something, but I have never seen a fighter like Jessica Andrade. In one fight, she looks like the best in the world. And in other fights, she completely looks like an amateur. It is absolutely crazy. So I can't really put it down to skills. I mean, something must be going on behind the scenes. But nonetheless, Godinez took some punishment in the third round and pulled off the victory. And the fight before that, Chase Hooper versus Hernandez. This is one of the two fights where I picked wrong. I picked Aaron Pico to win. I got that wrong. And I picked this one and I got it wrong. But Hernandez knocked out Chase Hooper in the first round. I never saw it coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie. I never saw it coming. I thought Chase was going to take him down, dominate him, and probably finish him late or secure a unanimous decision. But what I forgot was that Chase Hooper's striking is far from perfect. And the fight before that, ladies and gentlemen, Edson Barboza versus Jakar Close. I picked the more unknown fighter, Jakar Close. I mean, Jakar Close, talk about the injuries that the man suffered in his career. They are absolutely endless. Also competitive, close fight. I had Close winning, Jakar Close winning the fight. But Edson Barboza, like I said leading up to the fight, the mind is willing, and his mind was willing to go there. But the body will not follow. Why? Because the man simply has been in this game for way too long. And even though he looks like he found the fountain of youth, when you just look at his shape, the man looks in the best shape of his life at nearly 40 years old. But if physiques won fights, then we would be talking about a completely different game right now. But the two fights that started off the night, Silva and Barboza, good fight, close fight, competitive fight, could have gone either way. And Idris versus Morales. Morales finished him in the second round by submission, but that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it was a beautiful card, unbelievable main event. I mean, history. We're talking about history in the making. Khamzat Chimaev, first Chechen champion in UFC history. Most dominant performance in middleweight history. Most control time. I mean, most significant strike difference in a fight in middleweight. I mean, the man broke every single record that you can think of. And he is still undefeated, still on top of the world, and still the pride of all the Muslims around the world, win, lose or draw. And to put the cherry on top, the man is a world champion, and he is the best fighter on the planet.